This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and we're up just a little later today because we wanted to make sure we got to you right after Canada and the US played each other for the gold medal in women's hockey. And like any Canadian, we went into this day remaining optimistic. Hello. Anytime these two teams play each other, you know it's going to be good. Canada opened the scoring through Kristen O'Neill on a first period penalty kill. It was the first time in 5 games that the USA conceded a goal. And it stayed 1-0 until late in the third. Canada looked poised to win it. But Hillary Knight scored late after the US pulled their goalie to push the game to overtime. A clutch goal by the US all-time goal scorer. In overtime, the US completed the comeback. Megan Keller with an individual effort to win it. Absolute heartbreak for Canada. This is the 3rd time the Americans have won gold. We're honestly so proud of our girls, just want to put that out there, and 3-on-3 is just cruel. Over to the men's side, we're coming off one of the best days of hockey in recent memory, as 3 of the quarterfinal games were down to the wire OT thrillers. Now all eyes are on the semifinals, where Slovakia will be taking on the United States and Canada will face Finland Friday. And honestly, there is a chance that these games are even better. Slovakia-US is an intriguing one, especially since they are pretty unfamiliar opponents. These countries have not played best-on-best hockey in more than 12 years. The last time they faced off wasn't really close. The Americans put up 7 goals en route to a blowout win. But this time around, it's a very different Slovakia team. Most notably, they've got one of the best scorers of the tournament in Juraj Slafkovský, who already helped them take down a juggernaut in Finland earlier in the tournament. And if he gets hot, do not count out Slovakia. With the other matchup, we got Canada and Finland, who you may remember played just last year at the Four Nations Face-Off. And although Canada won the game 5-3, that score is a little deceiving. Let's not forget the offensive explosion that brought the Finns within a goal late in the third. Ultimately, the comeback fell short because of a late goal by Sidney Crosby. And speaking of Sid, we got a status update from our guy, Pierre Lebrun. As according to head coach John Cooper, they have not ruled him out of the semifinals. And I think every Canadian hockey fan took a sigh of relief after hearing that one. With more, now we bring in our hockey analyst, Craig Button. Uncle Button, how's it going?
Well, hello. Hey, it's the Olympics, big games loom. So I'm trying to look at my very best.
Okay, so the Canadians had to pull out all the stops to get past Czechia in overtime. What do you think they could take from an experience of such a hard-fought win?
A nail-biter, suspense-filled, lots of drama in Canada's quarterfinal game versus Czechia. And I think the biggest takeaway for Canada is that no opponent at this point in the tournament should be underestimated. It's one game. It's not, you don't get a chance at another game. One of the big things that I always say is that you have to treat every single play as critically important. Because at the end of the game, you will not know what play was critically important. So it's imperative as the stakes become higher, the challenges become greater, and certainly that's going to be the case in a semifinal game against a very competent Finland team. You have to take that mindset, and you have to understand there is no tomorrow if you don't find a way to deal with everything at an incredibly significant magnitude in terms of wherever you are on the ice, whatever you're doing, everything matters.
If we're looking at the matchup with Finland, what's the key for Canada to be successful in order to get to that gold medal game?
The second period versus Czechia, I thought was brilliant for Canada. They applied enormous amounts of pressure on the Czechs. The Czechs had a real difficult time getting out of their own zone, and Canada had a lot of really good opportunities. So what does that mean for Canada? Apply pressure, use your speed, use your quickness, and you're going to force mistakes from your opponent. At the same time, you're going to create advantages for yourself. So you play with that type of approach and you play with that type of purpose, and now you can wear down an opponent. You can take an opponent and make them have to defend for longer stretches of time, and the longer they have to defend, the more you're going to get them into spots where they're vulnerable. I think Canada showed that in the second period versus Czechia. If they do that against Finland, they can be successful.
Uncle Button, thanks as always. Enjoy the game.
Should be exciting.
After a week-long hiatus, the association is back tonight, including our Toronto Raptors. The Raps are well represented at All-Star Weekend. Scotty Barnes did his thing, hitting a game-winning 3 in the opener, and his team stars won the competition. With 27 games left, Toronto's goal is definitely to solidify a playoff spot. The way it sits now, the Raps are in 5th, 3 games clear of the Magic in 7th. Their defense has been great, ranking 6th in the league. However, the offense has struggled at times, especially the three-point shooting, which is 6th worst in the NBA. The odds on FanDuel have them at -1,200 to make the playoffs. That's an implied probability of over 92%. Leafs fans would dream of those odds right now, am I right? For more basketball talk, we're going to bring in our betting analyst, Wes Cheng. Wes, gong hei fa choi.
Yes! Hope you get rich too, Marissa.
Wes, it is the year of the Firehorse, so what do you say on bets for Nikola Jokic to win MVP?
Hey, Chinese people, very superstitious people, so I'll play the game with you here. Jokic to win MVP is all about health. 27 games remaining. He can only miss one more. But to his credit, he played all 32 straight prior to his injury. What I love the most about his case, he is very simply the best player in the NBA. He proved that after Christmas break with that 50-point triple-double, became the leader for MVP before he got hurt. Shea's argument is so much about OKC's team success, but now that they're stumbling, I think they'll give it more of a one-to-one approach once it comes down to the finish line. Jokic is the leader in rebounds, leader in assists. This is the second best scoring season. I think if he gets to that minimum, they're going to make good.
Meanwhile, the Raptors are in Chicago to take on the Bulls, so what are your angles on this one?
I like Jakob Poeltl to go over his rebounding prop, which is the exact opposite of what I've been giving on DSC as of late. But at this price, this is the ultimate buy low. Poeltl slowly getting back to good health and now has a great matchup to do so. Chicago has completely torn down their roster since the trade deadline. They have like 7 guards on the roster right now. They can't defend. They can't rebound. The last 3 centers went off, all got double-doubles. That was Vooch, Claxton, Jokic. Poeltl should be able to follow a similar trend line. If he can play 20, 25 minutes, this is a number that he should be able to hit.
All right. Thanks, Wes.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, we promised you more Tim, so we got more Tim. We're joined now by Tim Hauraney, who is in Bahrain, checking out all the new testing happening. What's going on, Tim?
Hey, Marissa T, thanks so much for having me.
All right, Tim, the season is still weeks away, but that has not stopped the drama, especially with Team Mercedes. So give us the Coles notes of what's going on.
Yeah, so with Formula One, things sometimes are quite complicated, and this is one of those subjects. So I'll try to distill it down to its basic form as best as possible. But essentially, team principal Toto Wolff from Mercedes has been getting quite frustrated. And the reason for that is that a lot of these teams believe that Mercedes is bending the rules somewhat, or they have found a bit of a loophole inside the rules, let's call it that. Teams are supposed to be running what's called engine compression ratios at 16-1. Now, some of these teams believe that Mercedes has found a way to run that compression ratio higher when out on the racetrack and the engine operating at race temperatures. And they believe it's upwards of 18-1 compression ratio, so that would give Mercedes quite the advantage, I would say, in terms of the power department. Now, the FIA, Formula One, and what's called the Power Units Committee, power units being the engine manufacturers, the committee, all got together on Wednesday, and what has come from that meeting is that they are going to put forward a vote, which will most likely pass, that would allow the FIA to come in and measure these power units' compression ratios at temperatures of 130 degrees, and that is set to come into effect on August 1st, 2026, if the vote goes through. From my understanding, the vote will most likely go through. And so this would give Mercedes about 13 races to squeak out a bit of an advantage or a bit of a lead in the Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship as well. And so Toto Wolff believes that they haven't done anything wrong, that they followed everything to a T and followed the rules as well. But usually when these teams start getting really passionate about the rules and what teams are doing, usually when there's a bit of smoke, there's a bit of fire to go with it.
Ooh, we're gearing up to have a spicy season. Thanks, Tim.
All right, thanks so much for having me, Marissa. I really appreciate it.
That's it for me today. We will see you back here tomorrow, 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.